Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I hope you're well. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I have to take my pills because I'm the least professional monkey on the internet. Hi, guys. How are you? Hope you're well. Shit, where'd that go? Uh-oh. I have to find that. I dropped one of my pills. Don't worry, it's just a Motrin. I don't want one of the girls to find it and think it's candy. I have to remind myself to do that. 1 second. Much better. Well, I'll feel better in a little while. Let's see. It is Friday. Guys, it's Friday. Hope you guys are having a great start to your weekend. Friday brings about the weekend. The end of that fucking work day. Weekend starts. And then Sunday night comes and you just get sad because you know it's over. We're going to talk about the title here in a little bit. We're going to get to some stupid shit I saw over on the Twitter. We're going to start with that because it's kind of related to what I was going to talk about. Thank you, Snubbirth, who says, I tagged you in a past bin on Twitter. I think it has all the Maxwell links. Okay. We're going to talk about Epstein. We're going to talk about him. I'm not going to deep dive into any of it because I don't have time to read it. Cernovich, who got the files, he said it took him all day and he still wasn't even done. So I'm not deep diving any of it, but certainly not now, at least. During our show, some information came out. Mike Cernovich had been suing to, I don't know, to get permission to access files, to get the files themselves, whatever it was. But he got access to deposition files from one of the victims in the Epstein case. Yeah. Epstein, that suicided fucking pedo. I know he didn't kill himself. And I honest to God don't believe he killed himself. But fuck that guy. I'm not sorry Epstein's dead. The only thing I'm sorry about with Epstein being dead is that he can't point out the other people who were touching children. For those of you who don't remember, he's an admitted pedophile. Jeffrey Epstein admitted to it. A part of a plea deal back in 2008, he admitted that he's a kitty diddler, for which he got a 1-year sentence where he was allowed to be out of the jail for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'm not making that up. Dude, stop spamming. I will shut you down for that. Stop it. Anyway, he's dead, and they claim that he suicided himself. We all know that story. He certainly didn't. What he did do was have an airplane they used to call the Lolita Express. If you don't know the story of Lolita, calling it that's actually kind of insulting to the girls. In the book Lolita, it's about a young girl who goes after a man. She's not just the victim. I mean, she's still a victim because she's way too young, but she is sexually aggressive towards the man. So it's kind of fucked up to use that language. A far more better named entity in this would be Pedo Island. And it came out, hey, Becca, how you doing? Part of the depositions that came out and were shared today tell us that Bill Clinton was on Pedo Island. Bill Clinton was on Pedo Island and seen with 2 young girls. Dude, somebody bop him, please. I'll do it, but if one of you guys could get it, I would appreciate that. This is big news. Big news. That's not something to just, scoff at. Bill Clinton was on the island and seen with 2 young girls. Now, does this mean he did anything wrong? No. Somebody actually I reached out to Alyssa Milano because if you guys remember, right after showing a video that called him a pedo or a sexual assaulter, she put this up on her page, on her fucking timeline, on her Twitter. She put up a video that accused Bill Clinton of being a sexual predator, a sexual assaulter. Her very next, now there were other people in there too, but Bill Clinton was part of that video. Her very next tweet was, "I love Bill Clinton." So I reached out to her and asked her, you know, knowing that we know this about him being on the island, or at least that it was reported that he was on the island. Do you still love him? And somebody replied with this. Where'd that go? Shit, I had it open. He was seen on the island. Nobody has accused him of anything. Right. He was just there soaking in the sun with those two young girls. He was chaperoning a school trip. That's what it was. They were on their end of summer trip. And he was just there to make sure they didn't get themselves, those little scamps didn't get into any trouble. For fuck's sake, how do you even say something like that out loud? Its nickname is Pedo fucking Island. What part of that? Oh my God. The other big news that came out was that came out of this was that Alan Dershowitz, boy, he's accused directly. He's also accused of writing up an NDA to keep girls silent about what happened there. Yeah. Dershowitz, you're going to need a lawyer, son. I think the FBI is going to want to talk to you. You might want to move over to France where they don't mind pedos. Go get a place with old shit. What's his name? I just lost it. I had it. Polanski. That's his name. Roman Polanski. Go get yourself a nice apartment with him. Fucking douche. Hammond Bean says Dershowitz was trending for about 5 minutes before Twitter hid his name. Yeah, isn't that some dirty fucking shit right there? That is who. Mattis says, who's Alan Dershowitz? Alan Dershowitz is a famous lawyer. He was involved in the OJ case. He's been involved in some other high-profile cases. He's also, wasn't he a legal analyst for CNN or for somebody? He pops about here and there now and then, and you don't see him much anymore, and I don't think you're going to see him at all anymore. But yeah, so oh shit, I forgot to open up my alert box. Whoops. Good time to remind you, I'm brought to you by you. My bad. I didn't set this one up well today. I got distracted, and then I forgot that I'd even actually started it. And I was like, oh, I should go start it. And I go over there. I'm like, oh, shit, I already did. And I only feel bad about that because then it tells you guys that I'm going live. So you guys had to wait longer than you really should have. I tried to do it about 5 minutes, and I think it ended up being almost 12. So sorry about that, guys. Anyhow, so yeah, Alan is going to get sad. Alan's going to get real sad. The implications here. Look, I'm just happy we're finally seeing names. Hasn't it been more than a year since Epstein, I'm using air quotes here, killed himself? Hasn't it been more than a year? And we haven't heard a fucking thing about anybody. There were rumors at the beginning about Dershowitz, Clinton, and Prince Andrew. The Clinton ones, they just disappeared. Just shh, don't talk about that. And then the Dershowitz ones, they were only out there for a second. Dershowitz was like, that's a goddamn lie. And he went and hid. And then Prince Andrew, he got into a little bit of trouble and said some really stupid fucking things. But then it just drops. And nobody else's name comes out. Nobody else's name. The FBI should be looking into this. They should. We're talking about child fuckers. This should be a top priority. And instead, You fucking idiots are out there. What are they doing? What is the FBI doing right now? Whatever it is, it's not as important as getting child fuckers off the street. I'm sure one of them is out there making a great case against Donald Trump and pointing to Russia collusion. Oh my God. So if Bill did what I'm fairly certain he did, that means Alyssa Milano likes a child molester. I wonder how long it's going to take me to get kicked. Or, well, I probably won't get kicked because I won't say anything too horrible to her. I wonder how long it's going to take her to block me when I start pointing out repeatedly that she loves pedophiles. Corey Suzuki, thank you so much. Who says, haven't caught you live in a bit. Here's some mun, monk. Thank you so very much. It's very, very kind of you. Very kind. The whole case with Epstein pisses me off. Going all the way back to the 2008 case. 2008, they give this man less than a slap on the hand. Less than a slap on the hand. I think his full term was, 16 months? I said a year earlier, but I was just rounding because it wasn't close to 2 years. I know that. I don't think it was 18 months. I want to say it was 16. But he was allowed out 12 hours a fucking day. There's only 1 day a week he had to keep his ass in prison. 1 day. For admitting to be a fucking kitty diddler. And then he gets out. And a whole bunch of people still hobnob with him because he's got power and money. He's got power and money. He's got power because he has money. And these girls who were trying to get some kind of relief for what happened to them because the justice system fucked them. He admitted to, 1 count of kitty diddling and 1 count of holding somebody against their will or something like that. He only pled to two counts, I think it was. That's no kind of justice for those girls. But that's what happened. That's what happened because he has power and money. And then just the other fucking day, you know what happened, guys? You want to know what kind of horrible, sick shit happens in this case? A judge ruled that one of the girls who's trying to sue the Epstein estate illegally had evidence from another girl who was involved in a legal matter with Epstein. And instead of saying just, okay, you can't use those in this case, ordered that evidence destroyed. Ordered the evidence destroyed. Evidence that could be used against anybody that's named in the stuff Cernovich found. That judge ordered it destroyed. How fucked up is that? Do y'all think maybe there's something there's something with this Epstein thing that goes deeper than even I've thought about before. When I heard that shit, Scribbles read it to us on Lords of the Night. It was one of the news stories. I'm like, wait, whoa. Why would you destroy the evidence? Why not put it back with that case and seal it? I believe that case got dismissed or something. And like, oh no, you have that information illegally. You have to destroy it. How about turning it over to the fucking FBI? Sounds like a much better idea when you're talking about a kitty diddler and a whole bunch of other kitty diddlers that you might be able to arrest and put in fucking jail. But no. Destroy that evidence. A judge. I wonder if that judge's name is on any of the pedo island stuff. What do y'all think? Doesn't that seem a little weird? Destroy it. No. Nobody in relation to Epstein has been sent to jail yet. They just picked up Ghislaine Maxwell, however you say her fucking name, who, by the way, is also accused of touching some of the girls, not just being the conduit, but being a participant now. But Ghislaine, she's the only one that's been charged. Nobody else has been. No one. They went to Pedo Island. They found apparently they found nothing because they haven't said a goddamn word about what they found there. Nothing is leaked about what was found there from our FBI. Are you fucking kidding me? Havoc, thank you so much. He had it destroyed because he was implicated in it. You know, I wouldn't doubt that because I don't see another reason why. I do not see a good reason why you would destroy evidence of possible crimes when you know the FBI is looking into it. The FBI has an open case on this. And you're telling me a judge, like, oh, no, you got to destroy all that shit. Johnny Hellcat, thank you. She hasn't had a case of sadness yet. Indeed. She's been lucky so far. Thank you for the donations, gentlemen. I hate this case. I don't like children being hurt. There was a really interesting thing said on Twitter. Somebody got into an argument with me over some kitty diddler stuff. I forget what it was. And Jim Healis piped up and said, look, don't argue with him when it comes to children being hurt. He said, even if you win, you're going to lose. Or what did he say? Even if you're right, you'll be wrong or something like that. Even if you're right, you're going to lose, I think is what he said. Don't hurt children, period. The end. The end. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse. Don't do any of that shit to them. Let them grow. Let them have a childhood that's worth remembering. I had a very good childhood, you guys. It was cut a little bit short. Mom dying at 14. That really made me grow up a little quicker than I should have. But until then, I had a really good childhood. We were poor, but Mom spoiled us the best she could. We had food to eat all the time, roof over our head, clothes on our back. Yeah, my parents, even though I got spanked every day, guys, I was not abused as a child. I deserved all my spankings. And it was only on my ass. I got my butt slapped. Yeah, I mean, I got spanked. I didn't get beat. I had a very good childhood, and I want everybody else to have very good childhoods. And if you hurt a kid, I want to hurt you badly. And I don't mean I desperately want to hurt you. I mean, I want to put you in severe pain. And I don't understand people like, we need to know you can't do horrible stuff to pedophiles. Like, oh, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Watch. Give me the opportunity. I'll show you I can. I don't understand how people be. No, look, we have to be. That's cruel and unusual punishment, monkey. Really? Do you know what they just did? You know what they did to that kid? You know the kind of fucked up stuff they did to that kid for the rest of that child's life? Don't hurt kids. I feel like that's a pretty easy thing to say. Anyhow, Mighty Balzac says, you earned your spankings. I absolutely did. All but one. All but one. And I got away with a lot of shit I should have been spanked for. So I guess I can call it even. You know what I do regret? I regret this about Mom dying so young. I never got the opportunity to tell my mom all the shit I got away with. That's a rite of passage. I did it with my dad, but like my dad wasn't there most of the time. He was all, overseas or working, I mean, there are chunks of my life. Dad was gone for 6 months at a time. So he wasn't there for a lot of the stuff we got away with. And, it wasn't fun to rub it in his face. Mom used to swear that there was nothing we could do she wouldn't know about. But, I wanted the chance to be, 18, 19, 20, tell Mom, like, remember how you thought you'd find out everything we did? Sit down, Mom. We need to have a talk about the things you missed. If anyone harmed my nephew, the torture I would inflict upon them would be temporary, unlike the trauma they caused a child. Oh, no, I would. If anybody hurt my children, if anybody had hurt them, I probably would end up in prison. Seriously, I'm not. That's not. Oh, you're just acting tough. Like, no, you don't understand. If you don't have children or you don't have a child you're close to, you just don't understand. And if you do have one, you're like, oh yeah, I get that. You might even be like, I probably couldn't do myself, but I understand how people could. Like there was a guy who he shot somebody who had hurt his child. He shot them in the courthouse and he ended up going to jail. And I understand he should go to jail for that. He murdered somebody. But he also got a light sentence, which I'm okay with. Because that's understandable. That's understandable. Anyhow. That reminds me when I told my mom I dated a stripper. He means what I was saying before that last part, guys. He doesn't mean the going into a courthouse and shooting somebody. No, yeah, that is a fun part. My children got to do it, and I was glad to go through it. It's horrible as a parent to be like, oh, stop, please. I don't want to hear it. I don't. You got away with it. Just be happy with that. But yeah, it's a rite of passage, and I am sorry I didn't get to do that because she was convinced. There's nothing you can do. That's not how my mom sounded. That would have been scary as fuck as a child if mom said, hey, get over here. There's nothing you can do that I won't know about. Like, oh, mom, if only you knew. If only you knew. You'd kill me right now. Yeah, I was not a good child, guys. I was not a good child. Mom thought of me as not a bad child. I was definitely her worst child. But she'd go to my parent-teacher conferences, and I've told you guys before, I was very, very good in school. I didn't fuck around. I did my work. I was quiet. And she'd come home, and I don't think they're talking about you. Like, Mom, I'm good at school. I'm just a jackass at home. But there's a whole lot of shit she had no fucking idea that I used to get into. It sounds like your mom was in The Exorcist. I know, right? Frank, thank you so much. My dad used to say he'd start at the toes with a belt sander. Yeah, I probably shouldn't say the things that I've thought of doing, but I had a lot of time at the shop. When I used to work at the machine shop, I started there when I was 22. Yeah. And I would just sit there for 10 hours a night, most of the time, all by myself. I wasn't the only one in the shop. My friend who I worked with, he worked there too, but he was on the other side of the shop. We didn't actually see each other most of the time, except for on breaks, or he was technically the supervisor. So if I had a question, I'd have to go ask him. But for the most part, we were on our own. And I would just sit there and think of horrible shit to do to people some nights. So yeah, there's some bad stuff I've thought of, but I'm not going to say them out loud. Oh, the things you could do in a machine shop. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Viking. There's a lot of opportunities in one of those places. But these things here. Melissa Milano doesn't like answering about the abortion she had at 15. How old were the men? Were they in a position of power over her? Did she think it was her choice? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that she didn't. I didn't even know her abortion was at 15. Huh. Who knows? Maybe that will make her like Bill more. Now I have the song all by myself in my head. Thanks, Monk. All by myself. Don't want to be all by myself. Good morning. That's how you doing, sweetheart. What a thing to wake up to. Monkey singing again. All right. We need to get into the stupid over on the Twitter. We need to get into the title. Oh my God, there's so many things. I had so many options for titles tonight. I almost titled it The Epstein Files, but as I said, I'm not deep diving in those yet because there's so much to them, and I could not do them justice. Mike Cernovich, the guy who ended up getting them and has released what has been released, excuse me, he said he'd been reading them all day, and I don't know how hyperbolic that is, but certainly it's a long read. There's a lot of stuff. This is a deposition. This is somebody asking another person questions of all kinds that goes all over the place. Gamer Valine, thank you. My guy being in Korea is why his now brother-in-law is still alive. He was very, very murderous when he found out his youngest sister was pregnant. Oh, well, yeah, you got to be careful with that. You can't just go around killing just because your sister got pregnant. But I understand. I do. Thank you for the donation. I had lots of things that I could have named this. I could have went with the those assholes kneeling. We'll get to that. Could have went with what did I name it? Did we go with aggressive eye contact? Yeah. There were several choices, so we're gonna have a lot of stupid tonight. The other one was there was the other one. Individuals with a cervix. I almost named it that. But I've named it women before, and I didn't want to repeat myself. First things first, before I move on, Herman Cain died. Herman Cain, black conservative, ran for president, does not get the respect he deserved because he's a black conservative, which we all know means he's not black. If you're a black conservative, you're not black. At the very least, you're an Oreo. You're white on the inside. Which, by the way, is fucking racist. You shitbags. Cannibalistic Wizard says, who? Herman Cain. Look him up. Did he work for Bush, the first Bush? I can't remember how he exactly came to prominence, but he had a run as a presidential candidate in the Republican Party back in 2000. He had a plan that he called 999, where he wanted to tax businesses, income, and sales at 9% each to pay for the national debt, the national budget. He got a lot of shit for it. That won't work. Like, did you even look? I don't know if it would have worked. I really don't, but they just immediately dismissed it. Oh my God, that's so stupid. That's so stupid to make everybody pay the same percentage of taxes. We need to have taxes to be equal. They need to be fair. They need to be fair. And equal taxes is not fair. Thank you, Hazmat Sad Boy, who says, does thinking of using a knife just to cut the person gum and slowly begin to cut all the teeth in half while working at Disneyland okay? However you want to do it. Oh, James Colley, yes, Godfather's Pizza. I forgot how he rose in the political world. He became a very wealthy man as the CEO of Godfather's, wasn't it, James? Godfather's Pizza. God, you never hear that name anymore. I thought about that when I was reading articles about Herman today, because I hadn't heard Herman's name probably in a year at least. But yeah, he passed away from COVID, and the news could not wait to tell us that he was at Trump's rally and didn't wear a mask, and he died of the COVID, you guys. Yeah. Isn't that a shitty thing to do? Isn't that a shitty thing? Trump killed him, and he was stupid. He went to the thing, and he wasn't wearing a mask. You're not allowed, and I don't want to take credit for this. It actually comes from Gadsad, and Scribe pointed it out. But this is true. You never go, he had sex without a condom and he died of AIDS. You don't do something like that. You know why? Because it's a shitty thing to do. Now, they will say he was a lifelong smoker if he dies of like lung cancer. I've seen that before. But, they just couldn't wait. In the one article I read, I swear to God, they talked just briefly about Herman. It was like 2 paragraphs about Herman, and then like 5 paragraphs about how he got the COVID before they actually went into like a biography of him. I was like, are you fucking kidding? This is a black man who ran for president in 2000. Shouldn't that be something that you guys are going, hey, look how great this is, yay? Should you be talking about the milestones that he was helping to put the path for, blaze the trail? Oh, no, we're not going to talk about a black Republican running for office. Fuck no. Fuck that Oreo, right, liberals? Right? Dicks. Oh, yeah. And some of the things that have been said about Herman Cain today are just awful. Just awful. Rest in peace, sir. I didn't agree with him on everything. Some of his policies sounded like, what? But, I mean, I never saw anything horrible about the man. And maybe I missed it. Maybe I did. I guess we only celebrate black men who butt rape women in a Colorado hotel, right? Herman Cain didn't have a good enough jump shot to be celebrated. Nah, you got to ass rape a woman. That's how you get real celebrity status in our country. Make sure you got that alley-oop down. And then you can ass rape people and die a hero. Might be a little pissed off about this one. John Lewis deserves the respect he's getting. Kobe Bryant did not. Herman Cain does. And this is it's fucking sad to see the kind of shit that's being said about that man. Anyway. So yeah, rest in peace, sir. And if you guys don't know who Herman Cain is, go look him up. He was not a hugely influential person in our time, but he made a splash in politics. Check him out. Again, yeah, rest in peace, sir. What else? Okay, should we go to that story, or should we go to that story? Don't worry, guys. I'm talking to me, not you. I'm not even sure. There's so much to talk about. I guess. Yeah, let's jump into the aggressive eye contact. Let's get this stupid shit out of the fucking way. Because it's going to annoy me. My internet might break up for a second. This is on the Daily Mail, and it always fucks with my internet. Because for some reason they have 1,000,003 ads on here. Here is the article if you'd like to see it yourself. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but are masks giving men a license to leer? Women report a rise in. This is a quote, you guys. It's quoted in the headline. Women report a rise in, quote, aggressive eye contact, end quote, since face coverings became commonplace, as an expert warns they, quote, provide anonymity, end quote, for threatening behavior. Oh, God. The whammons are being looked at, guys. We need the police. Call the police. The whammons are being looked at. How? Okay, look. I understand that you can use your eyes to express things, but usually it takes more than your eyes. There are very few people who can be very emotive with their eyes alone. Usually it takes, the way you're holding your mouth, the way you're standing or tilting your head, something else to give it away. If you're just standing there looking at somebody, he's aggressively staring at me. Shut up. Shut up and brush your blue hair to the side and move on with your life. Fucking aggressive eye contact. Women across the country, like I said, this is from the UK. This is Daily Mail. Women across the country are reporting a rise in aggressive eye contact since the introduction of face coverings in some places in public. New laws introduced over the weekend force customers to wear face masks in all shops, stations, banks, and post offices, while it also mandates to wear coverings on public transport. But many women have been sharing stories online of aggressive eye contact and hard staring from men wearing masks. Hard staring's in quotes, guys. Jesus Christ. With one tweeting, grown men staring at you with a mask on is worse than when they don't have a mask. It's the same thing. Oh my God. This says unwomen. I'm guessing UN women UK. It's really weirdly written. I'm gonna put it in the chat so y'all can see I ain't making this shit up. This is what it says. So I'm gonna read it as written. UN Women UK Executive Director Claire Barnett told F-Email, quote, as we work to build back better following lockdown, we need to prevent the lack of witness of antisocial behavior due to less populated public spaces, as well as the anonymity face coverings can provide, leading to further rises in harassment and threatening action towards women, girls, and minoritized groups. It actually says minoritized. Not minority, minoritized. What the heck? Who wrote this shit? Me? That looks like some shit I would have wrote on Twitter by accident. The fuck is a minoritized group? This is the word right there. Minoritized. The fuck is minoritized? Can I become minoritized? They will require widespread changes in attitudes and behaviors, creating an understanding that behavior like unwanted and persistent staring is intimidating, and that we all have a role to play in making our public spaces more inclusive. Guys, this is for you. This is what they're telling you. You guys need to look away in shame. Look away in shame if you see a woman. You don't look at her. That is, God said, thou shalt not stare at women. It leads to fornication, and fornication is wrong. Thou shalt not fornicate after the hard staring and the aggressive eye contact. What the fuck is this? Kind of whiny, bitchy, my life is too good shit is this? Okay, I thought when I spilt a little bit of my latte, it was the worst thing that ever happened. But then that guy aggressively made eye contact with me, and then he hard stared at me for like 5 whole seconds. And I felt so violated. It made my pussy actually hurt. Now I have the PTSD. Fuck off. Another wrote, seriously, we are all wearing masks and some men keep staring. What the fuck is wrong? Ladies, I'm going to let you in on a secret. We like to look at women. We do. It's born into us. Even gay men look at women. It's true. They may not want to fornicate with them. I'm just going to keep saying fornicate tonight. I'm going to use the other F word for a change. They may not want to fornicate with them, but they still appreciate a nice shape. Pretty eyes. Maybe we're just looking at you and going, oh, shit. We went to Walmart today. We had to pick up my medicine. And I stared at a woman completely on accident. She was walking down the aisle. And I just turned my head. And I don't know what was wrong with the bra she was wearing, but the top of her titty on the left side was jiggling like she was in a fucking earthquake. And on the right side, it was completely still. And I could not stop staring. That's not on me. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't mean. As soon as she passed me, I busted out laughing. That's not true. I gave her like 5 seconds, and then I busted out laughing. I don't understand why her one titty was unstable. But it wasn't, weird titty physics. Exactly, Ham and Beans. She has some weird titty physics. I don't know. I didn't make it happen. Sometimes we just are looking around and seeing a face. We can't even say why we're looking. Stop being so fucking pussyfied. Women, it's okay for men to look at you. Seriously. Get over yourselves. For fucking sake. That's a dried up utter. I know why. Maybe you're correct. And unstable, jiggly physics. No, Professor Naps, I'm sure physics is involved there somewhere, but I'm not sure how. I tried to figure it out as she was walking towards me. But that one titty, man, it was just and the other one perfectly calm, man. Maybe she has some rocks in her shoe on that side. I don't know. All men must divert thy gaze. Yes, indeed. Thou shalt not look at me. You're too ugly to look at me. I am so pretty. I am the goddess Aphrodite, and you are but a peasant. How dare you? Avert your gaze, you little bitch. Fuck you. I'll look if I want to. Call the cops. Tell them I'm aggressively looking at you. See what fucking happens. They'll be like, wait, so there's a man looking at you? Yes, he's looking at me so hard right now. Is he making any moves? No. Gestures? No. Is he saying anything? He's not doing anything but staring at me really, really hard. Man, we're going to hang up now and laugh about you. Aggressively. They're hard staring. Shut the fuck up. Let's see. Do men realize that masks don't cover their eyes so we can still fucking see them staring like the creepy pieces of shit they are? Goddamn women, what have you done to each other? What have you done to each other? Look. I realize some of you have Epstein uncles, okay? Not all men are like that, all right? Hashtag not all. I know we're not supposed to. You're not supposed to say not all men, because obviously it's not all men when I say kill all men. Obviously it's not all of them, just because I said all. I know we're not supposed to come out and defend our sex at all. But most guys are just normal guys who want to get about their day. They probably weren't even looking at your dumbass. There was probably some Cheetos or something up behind you and you didn't even realize it. And you're just a self-centered cunt who can't believe that nobody looked at you or that somebody was looking at anything but you. You're the Lena Dunham of the world. I can't believe Odell Beckham didn't look at me. He probably didn't look at me because I'm not a fucking model. And Odell Beckham's like, I didn't even know that bitch was here. She literally came out and complained because she wasn't being objectified. Same thing these women will do. Because you cannot win with them. These kind of women, you have ruined women. And men, you let it happen. What in the absolute fuck have you done to women? You've turned them into some kind of evil creature. Not hashtag not all. There's a lot of great women out there. Lady Monkey, top of my list. My daughter is a wonderful young lady. There's lots of women in this chat right now who I have a lot of respect for. There's a lot of women in the world I have absolutely zero respect for. Is it possible to have negative respect? Because I'm pretty sure I do. For the record, there's men that I feel the same way about. But we're talking about women in this case because it's women bitching about hard staring. Hard staring. Brittany Mars, thank you so much. Jumanji movie, The Rock smolder look. But can you really see that with a mask on? If you pay attention, a lot of that is his face. You know what I mean? I have very expressive eyes. I've been told that. But again, I've practiced in the mirror to see what other people are seeing. And I've hidden my face and only my eyes. And you really can't tell unless you can see my whole face. And what they're really bitching about with aggressive eye contact and hard staring is that they looked at them. That's all it is. They looked in my direction. Now, if I knew somebody was like this, that's out in public, and I happen to catch their glance for a second, and they give you that, they cross their arms and stomp their foot at you, I'd pull down my mask and slowly lick my lips at them. And then I would turn away and just ignore them for the remainder of my shopping trip. I just want to fuck with them for a second. I do not understand. I do not understand how women can be like this. I know why it happened. I just have trouble believing that any adult could be this dumb. Male, female, hermaphrodite, I don't get it. He hard stared at me. Shut up, bitch. Anyhow, y'all are ruining the species. You know that, right? Not you guys in chat. I'm talking to the idiots that propagate this shit. You're ruining the species. You know that, right? Soon people won't be having sex because they're too afraid to go near each other because somebody might have hard stared at them and that makes them a really creepy fuck. These creepy fucks, they won't stop staring at me. How much you want to bet the bitch who wrote that is like 400 pounds? And that guy was staring at her going, I'm pretty sure she's got a rib stuck between her teeth. You're going to kill the species. And the only ones that'll be left is rednecks because they fuck all the time and don't go on the internet. I'm talking real rednecks, like the ones who live in like swamp people. I'm not talking about rednecks like Bloodwing because they've migrated to the end. You're gonna have Amish people and swamp people left. That's gonna be it. Everybody else is gonna die out because you're too afraid to fuck each other. Because you've been taught to be afraid of men. And because of that, you've come up with a whole bunch of shit that makes men afraid of you. With good reason. I raped me. How long till we get that? I raped me. Haven't we heard that before? I rape. He sexually abused me with his eyes or some stupid shit like that. I know we have undressing with the eyes, but goddamn aggressive eye contact. Go fuck yourself. You sad excuse for a human. For real. All right. How much time we got? Okay. Oh, wow. We're almost at an hour. I don't feel like I've talked that long. My throat's starting to feel like I talked that long. Let me take a drink here real quick, guys. Some FBI big heads and judges probably ended up on that island. Oh, I'm sure some of them did. I'm sure some did. Man. Should we do the cervix article? It's not really the article. We're not going to read the article itself. Mighty Balzac, thank you so much. All this reminds me of the Junior Anti-Sex League from Orwell, 1984. We have to get together to propagate these species. And I suppose you can get a turkey baster if you want to, but try sex. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Get into it. Whisper your fantasies to each other and see if you got, well, be careful. Some of y'all got some really weird fetishes and shit, but whisper your fantasies to each other and see if they'll go along with it. And you'll have a good time and you won't be so up fucking tight. Maybe you'll realize that maybe that guy's staring at you because he thinks you're cute and he's just appreciating God's work. Whatever God you may believe in. Or Mother Nature's work. Or the good genes. Maybe he's looking at you thinking, man, I'd like to fuck her mom if her mom looks like her. And maybe your mom could use a good tumble. Stop being so selfish, Becky. You're absolutely ruining the relations between men and women. And you guys got to stop it. You do. Because it's to the ridiculous point of hard staring. Hard staring. That was a fucking phrase they used. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, we got to get on to the cervixes. CNN and the American Cancer Society says some really stupid shit. This is the CNN tweet, and it goes to a article about the American Cancer Society's guidance. And it says, individuals with a cervix are now recommended to start cervical cancer screenings at 25 and continue through age 65, with HPV testing every 5 years as the preferred method of testing, according to new guidelines released by the American Cancer Society. Individuals with a cervix. Women. You mean women. And I already know, monkey, some women don't have a cervix. Some have had like their inner parts all scooped right out. Yes, I know. And those women will be smart enough not to go to the doctor to get their cervix checked. Have a little faith that humans aren't that goddamn stupid yet. Now, I do realize some people are. You had the people in the UK that threw a fit because they weren't getting notices for cervical treatments or cervical screenings. For pap smears, I believe is actually what it was for. And they didn't get those because they're trans women who have absolutely zero need for that. And then you have that one moron up in Canada. What's Jessica Fucknut? Excuse me? I need to see the gynecologist. Ma'am, you have a dick. You can't discriminate against me. I'm a woman. You have a dick. So yeah, there's a couple of morons out there. But by and large, women who don't have a cervix know they don't have a cervix and won't go to the fucking doctor over it. And before anybody, what about trans women, monkey? Most of them are not the fucking advocate morons that you see who get all the fucking press. Most of them will be like, yeah, I don't have a cervix. I'm not going to do that. That's not directed at me. Most of them will be like, what did the American Cancer Society say about prostates? Because I still need to look into that. Have a little faith that humans aren't that goddamn stupid. Now, here's the thing. I don't for a minute believe that CNN did this for women who have had like hysterectomies and don't have a cervix up there anymore. I think they did it for the trans women thing. Because trans women are women too. Okay, let's go with that. You can still say women, and trans women will be smart enough to go, shit, I don't have a cervix. I guess that doesn't apply to me. The only way they'd get offended is if you tell them to be offended, or they're fucking stupid. In either case, they don't need to be listened to. You don't need to go around holding everybody's hand, treating them like they're children. Stop treating them like they're children. They'll stop acting like they're children. Treat them like adults. They'll act like fucking adults. It's amazing how it happens. And if you don't believe it happens, go find a graduating military class. Some class that just got out of fucking basic. And ask those guys, how many of them feel like they grew up while they were in there? You'll be surprised how many hands go up. You know why? Because they're not treated like fucking children. They're expected to perform. There are expectations put on them. And if they don't meet them, they fail. It's amazing. If you guys have ever known anybody who went into the military, I knew a lot of guys that went into the military because, grew up around bases, and that's what happens. People follow in their footsteps of their parents. And there's some of them when they go in, you're like, oh, they're going to kick his ass. They're going to beat the ever-loving shit out of this guy. He's a fucking douche nugget. And sure enough, man, they go in, they come out a different person. A different person. Being treated like an adult was one of the best parts of the Army for me. Right, Dante? It's amazing. I know a lot of guys who, they just came out different. It's like something in them finally clicked. And like, oh, I have to grow up now. Not completely. Look, sailors, soldiers, Marines, these guys can still party like crazy. But they come out and they have responsibilities and they are grown up. Put responsibilities on people instead of infantilizing them. Stop running around patting their little bottom when they're upset. Oh, come over here and I'll pat you by lean on my shoulder. Have a good cry. Have a good cry. I saw another motherfucker telling me today, men need to be able, I can't say this, to express their emotions. Shut the fuck up. We do. And if there's men out there who don't believe they can express their emotions, then yes, those men need to be told, hey, it's okay. I don't know who fucked you up, but it's okay to express your emotions. If you need to cry, cry. But you know what they also need to be told? There's a time and a place. There's a time and a place. And if you had a fucking daddy to taught you that, it's okay not to wear your emotions on your sleeves. We are not women. That's a women thing. And I know you're not going to like that. Monkey, come on, men and women are the same. No, we're fucking not. And you don't want us to be. You know why? Because then you won't fuck us either. And the species dies off. Why are they so in such a hurry to kill the species? You're part of it, you dumbass. You don't want men acting like women. You don't even like each other. Crying is for babies, little girls, and men who just had their ears ripped off. I would say men who've just lost their dad or their mom, especially your dad, man. When your dad goes and if you don't cry, I understand if you had a horrible relationship but if you have a decent relationship with your dad, you will cry like a baby. Because that's your dad, that's your role model. That's your hero. My dad was my hero. You know, people, who's your hero? Oh, Kobe Bryant. One day I want to ass rape somebody. That's not right. No, but my answer was my dad. My dad was my hero. He was a good man, and I wish I was more like him. I do. I still do. Because he was a nice man. He was very kind. I am not. I am not a good man. I'm I'm not a bad man. But compared to my father, I'm not a good man. I don't have his patience. I don't have his kind heart. And I feel bad about that. It's just I'm a different person, you know. But yeah, my dad was my hero. And when he died, I cried like a fucking baby, man. I sat here. Well, actually, it was in the living room. My desk was still out there, listening to old country songs about dads, just bawling my fucking eyes out for like 3 hours straight. Everybody else had gone to bed. Stoicism turned off. Just me. Turn on the music and just let it flow. Let it flow. Get it out. Adabisi, thank you so much. Hi, Monk. ADHD chat. Hello. See, my hero and the person I'm always chasing is me 10 years in the future. I've always had problems, you know, when like, you need to set a goal. Like, no, I don't think so. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, I don't fucking know. How the fuck do I know? I'm more of a fly by your pants kind of guy. Frank, thank you so much. Where are we at? Both of my ex's sisters. Both of my ex's sisters. There we go. Both of my ex's sisters are feminists. All three are into BDSM. Due to that, I've noticed a lot of women who like BDSM, mostly subs, are feminists, yet like being beaten and controlled by men, like the housewife style, and have rape fantasies. Major disconnect. I get what you're getting at there. But when it comes to sexual fetishes and stuff, I don't think you can really judge what the person's going to be like. Because when you get into getting into sexual fantasies and stuff, you're talking about letting your inhibitions go. And that's letting go of who you try to be. You know what I mean? You have to let go of the things that you normally wouldn't do. That's what your inhibitions are. They stop you from doing things that you wish you could. I have very few of those. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Me, not dead, hopefully. That's a good answer. No, that was always the hardest question on job applications or job interviews. Because I can do, well, what is your strength? What is your weakness? What is your goal? Like, fuck, I should have got myself one of those. The other two are fine. My strength, I'm a very quick learner. That's an easy one. Very quick learner. Weaknesses. I sometimes get distracted, as you guys might have noticed. But when it comes to where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, let me see. Probably. Still trying to answer this fucking question. Because I've never been that guy. I wish I could. I wish I could be the kind of guy who sets goals. Because it is proven as a very good way to be successful. And now you see why I'm not successful. I can't do that. James, are you pocket timing people out again? I'm going to have to take that wrench from you. I won't do it yet, but if this keeps happening, I'm going to have to, dude. If that was if that was unintentional. What is your strength? I have a strong odor. I'm not a fan of that question on a job application. It seems like a weird thing to ask. You're asking somebody to evaluate themselves, and most people aren't good at that. And the people who are, I'm kind of iffy on what they'll answer, If they answer very quickly, I'm always like, are they really, or is that just how they see themselves? Yeah. I don't know. Lesser Logic says baiting a bad answer. Perhaps. But yeah, I always hated those questions. I don't know what questions are good job application or interview questions. What do you know about what we do here? That's a good one. Because if they go, I don't fucking know, especially if that's how they say it, like, well, it was nice talking to you. We'll be in touch if we want to hire you. Let's see. That was one of the good things about working at Walmart. A lot of people, as department managers, we were supposed to be the first people to do interviews. And most of the other department managers hated doing it. But here's the thing. If I didn't like a candidate, if there was something about him, then I'm like, no. I didn't have to talk to a manager. I could just decide for myself, and out the door they went. And too many people, if I wasn't there, they'd do interviews and they would just accept anybody. I'm like, I hope they end up working for you. They end up working for me and they suck. I'm going to hate you. I'm going to take that shit out on you. I'm going to hire you somebody bad on purpose. I did do that once, by the way. I hired somebody bad for somebody. I was pissed off. I was busy. And they asked me because nobody else would do it. And they knew I'd always say yes. And the other person, I knew. It was for their department. And I knew they weren't busy. They were fucking around. And I was trying to get a mod done. And I was mad. And this person was awful. Just awful. I'm like, all right. I'm going to get a manager in here and they'll ask you some more questions. And the managers passed anybody that I passed because they knew that I was very disconcerting. Said, no, it's not the discerning. That's the word I'm looking for. Discerning. That's a whole different word. Fuck. That's why I keep English majors around, guys. I was very discerning when it came to these. So yeah, I purposefully hired a bad employee for them. Take that, bitch. Next time, do your own goddamn interview. And I told him, I did. Like, you hired them? I'm like, maybe you should have done the interview. Anyway, yes, I am petty like that sometimes. Didn't affect me. They didn't work for my ass. Anyway, individuals with the cervix, you guys, be careful. And yes, I see that lesser logic. I appreciate it. I had got it before you said it, though, so I'm proud of myself. I knew what it meant. All right. Should we watch this clip? I don't know if we should watch the clip because I haven't watched it. It's like 4.5. Well, it's 5 minutes long. It's 4:55. No, let's just talk about the quote that's inside here. This is it's a quote from Majority Whip Clyburn. He said this when he was on CNN. What in the world is this man thinking? Ellipse. God bless. I'm just going to keep saying the wrong fucking words. Maybe we should watch it because they don't get his whole quote here, and I don't want to take the man out of. Well, this is what CNN thought to quote, so I'll keep it. What in the world is this man thinking? We've had world wars. We've never had to postpone an election. The president is off in never land someplace. This is in response to Donald Trump asking the question today. Asking the question if we should postpone the election. He didn't say we should. And I have a theory about this. I've come up with my theory, what I think happened here today. But I need to point this out. The Democrats, because of COVID, insisted that some primaries should be pushed back. They absolutely threw a fit when some of them were still held when they were supposed to be, when they were scheduled. Threw a fit. Oh my God, I can't believe we're out here voting with the COVID. We're going to die. And they did. They postponed several of the primaries. Voting, they put it off. We'll just do it later. And here's what I think happened. Exactly, Sin Nikki. I think Donald Trump threw that out there to keep the Democrats from being able to do it. Because as soon as he did it, they all rushed to yell, we can't do that. Some of them saying, the president doesn't have the power to do that, even though he didn't suggest that he was going to do it. But they are all on record now, all on record, saying we should not put off this election. Donald Trump got these assholes to say we should have people go out and vote. They can't. It's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. And for anybody who's like, oh no, he's not that smart. Yes, he is. If Donald Trump knows anything, it is how to manipulate the media and his opponents. He knows how to do it. This isn't even deep chess stuff here. All he had to do was throw out, maybe we should think about postponing the election. Oh, how dare you? No, we've never done that before. World wars and famine and the plague and everything that happens in Revelations, we never put it off. Oh, well, shit, I guess, yeah, you're right. Elections should go forward. Huh. I didn't think of that. Motherfucker just... Oh, got a bite. Just fucking reeled him right the fuck in, man. Just set them all up. I am convinced that's what he did. Convinced. And again, if you know anything about Donald Trump, know that he is very good at manipulation. Very good at it. That's why I've always said I am not sure if everything he does is 4D chess or if sometimes he lucks into it, because there are times there's no way he did it on accident. There's no way. And then there's other times it's like, oh, that's very fortunate that happened that way. Is he that smart? Is he that smart? By the way, it's not hard to manipulate people. And in this case, we're talking about the U.S. press. Really easy to manipulate. Really easy to manipulate. How you doing, Data? Good to see you, my friend. Have you been playing 19? It's been a lot of fun. I haven't been back on my single-player server in a while. I don't even know where the fuck I'm at in that thing. I am going to get back to it. If not tonight, definitely tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I have to stay up quite late. I need to be able to. Lady Monkey is going to visit her dad, and she's leaving probably around 6 or 7 in the morning. So I'm just going to stay up and see her off instead of trying to wake up to see her off. So, yeah, so she's leaving tomorrow morning, not Friday morning, Saturday morning. So I want to try to stay up a little bit tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be playing online or not. I've been playing Crusader Kings 2 in my off time. It is an incredibly boring game to watch, I would imagine. I think it would be fun for you guys in the audience because I could talk to you a lot more because it is such a slow-paced game. But very much like The Sims 3, you guys, this is a game where I can, like, bang everybody. It's all about keeping your lineage going. So you have to make sure that you have heirs to your throne. And yeah. Crusader King, yes. Crusader King 2. It is free to play on Steam. The next iteration, Crusader Kings 3, is coming out in September? I think. Yeah, I think it's September. You can make your horse chancellor. I don't know if I have an expansion that lets me do that. I bought the game a long time ago, and then they made it free. I think I had it for about 4 months when they made it free. I was like, you fuckers. But I do have some of the expansion packs. So you'd actually have to raise these kids. Well, kind of. You don't really do much. The only thing you do to raise your kids is you put a guardian in charge of them, and then every so often you'll get a pop-up asking you to play with your kid. One of my kings had more kids through his son's wife than his own. Oh, that was what hooked me on the game, Professor Naps. I was playing it the first time, and I realized that I could have sex with other people, and my son comes of age and has a wife, and I'm like, can I seduce her? And yep, I could. Yep, I could. Stargazer says, you deserted them in Sims. I did not desert them. I just sent them back with their mamas. That's where they started. But yeah, Professor Naps, that's what hooked me on. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. I don't do that on purpose. I will bang one of my advisors, their wives. I bang them all the time. I accidentally sent my pregnant concubine. That's such a weird sentence. I accidentally sent my pregnant concubine to be the wife of one of my advisors. I didn't realize that she was still pregnant, or I would have kept her until she had the baby and then sent her away. But my advisor got really mad at me because I had slept with his wife. I'm like, no, I did not. That's bullshit. Yeah. No, seriously, it was on accident. I've sent my concubines away pregnant before, but this time it was an accident. Yeah, I've sent lots of women away from me before, and you send them across the world, find the furthest king you can pass them off to, and be like, here, have this thing. Anyhow, I didn't mean to get talking about Crusader Kings. It's a fun game if you like that kind of game. I don't know how much. I know a lot of people love that game. A lot of people will watch that game. I don't know if you guys would watch. Like I said, I would talk through the whole thing and probably be more attentive than ever in a video game stream. Mr. Beast has been hyping up the hardest riddle ever. The hardest riddle ever. They've been working on it for a long time, and they came up with the hardest riddle ever. And they finally came out with it today. And if you were the first person to crack the riddle, you'd win $100,000. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Except what he came up with wasn't a fucking riddle. I hate when people use the wrong word. What he came up with was an internet scavenger hunt. The first part of it is a 29-piece thing, 29-step riddle, he called it. And it's not a riddle. The first part of it is they put 10 links in the bottom, and only one of them is germane to the riddle. Like, but that's not a fucking riddle. It's a scavenger hunt, you shithead. I got so disappointed. Look, good on him. As far as I know, they're giving the $100,000 to the guy who went through their scavenger hunt first. But I like riddles. I really enjoy riddles. I like having my brain challenged. And like, oh, the hardest riddle ever? I was excited. I wasn't expecting to win the fucking $100,000 because, well, I forget these things happen. But I was really excited to go and do the riddle. And I look at him like, it's not a fucking riddle. That's a scavenger hunt. Psychic Chakrabarti, the mastermind behind Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, he gave us the golden donkey, you guys. He said this: the crisis in Bangladesh is just gradually getting worse every year. In the U.S., we often talk about climate change as some future problem that we have time to solve, but we don't. For millions, it's already causing irreparable harm. And then he links to a New York Times story about how Bangladesh is suffering bad floods right now. Bangladesh has a history of bad floods, going back at least to 1842. Say it again, 1842. We don't know if there was more before that. I couldn't find any record online of any before that, but it's Bangla-fucking-desh. The flooding that we know about from the 80s and from the 50s of last century were horrible, absolutely bad. Right now, it's like 27 to 30% of the country is flooded. The 1987 flood, 60% of that fucking landmass was covered in water. 60%. Double what's covered right now. Double. It's never been this bad. This asshole actually responded to me. It's the first time he's ever responded to me. I've made tweets to him constantly because he's a fucking dumbass. He's like, did you read the article? It's worse than ever. Worse than ever. 87, twice as much landmass was covered in water. Kyla says it's like the whole country is a river basin, right? For those who don't know, it is. It's yeah. Look, guys, this means we don't even have the 12 years. Bangladesh is flooded. Bangladesh is always fucking flooded. I hate stupid people. Look, again, I'm not saying global warming's not happening. I'm saying the evidence they keep getting us is suspicious at best. You're telling me a country that always floods is flooding, and you're using that as proof that global warming is getting worse. That's fucking retarded. It literally comes with the territory, right, guys? Oh my God. Again, I'm willing to believe the science if you'll show me real science. I'm willing to believe that the climate is changing. I'm even willing to believe humans have a part in it. If you can prove it to me, if you can give me evidence other than Well, Steve over there made a computer model between Pac-Man games. You mean the computer model that can't predict shit? The one that's as good as the COVID model? I got into an argument with an asshole once because their computer models for global warming cannot predict what's happening right now. Say if you set the computer model back to say 1980 with all known variables and literally type in all the stuff that's happened exactly as it has happened and ask it to predict right now, it can't do it. It always tells us that the earth has warmed like it 2 to 10 times as much as it has. You know why? Because they specifically programmed the thing to show that it's warming. If you type into a calculator 2 plus 2, it always says 4 because the calculator was programmed to say 2 plus 2 is 4. If somebody programs that same calculator to say 2 plus 2 equals 5, then it will always say 5. For nerds out there, like, that's a little simplistic. It is, but to help people who don't understand what a computer model is, that's all it is. It is a program. It is something that somebody put together to show what might happen. And they had to type it in there and tell it how to react. See, so if the CO2 in the atmosphere goes up 1 whatever degree thing that they measure it by, then the warming of the earth should go up by X amount. Well, what happens if it doesn't go up by X amount? We know it hasn't in a lot of cases. Their models are always wrong. And I had some asshole, that's not true. Like, all right, show me the ones that have been right. Go search it yourself. The refrain of somebody who has no proof of what bullshit they're saying. Anyway, completely ignoring the medieval warming period. Oh, absolutely. It's about 950 to 1250 AD. There was a massive warming of the entire planet using their own what's the word I'm looking for here? Measurements, their own measuring systems. A spike in the temperature that was so drastic it changed agriculture. Now, that might not sound like a big deal to you, but it is. You can't grow some plants in some areas because it's just not warm enough. And suddenly they were able to do that. They were growing grapes in Britain. In England, they're growing grapes. It's way too cold there to do that. But they were able to do it for about 300 years, and then it just got cold again. We're actually coming out of an ice age still. We're supposed to be warming as far as we know. And we have been gradually for a long time. But monkey, the guy from Penn State, he said it's getting warm because people are driving cars and cows are farting. Yeah, well, Michael Mann is a fucking moron. He's not a scientist, he's an activist. And again, I'm not saying it's not warming. I'm saying you can't prove that man has anything to do with it. And while you're running around trying to prove man has something to do with it, maybe there's something we can be doing to help ourselves deal with a natural warming cycle. What about that? Have you thought about that? Has that entered your fucking brain? That you might actually be detrimental? Have you considered it? Of course you haven't, because you're not even allowed to suggest that, because that makes you a science denier. Asking for them to do real science makes you a science denier. You get a stronger greenhouse reaction from water vapor. Water vapor is the #1 greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. I saw a really funny thing. Some jackass decided to help get rid of carbon dioxide. He wanted us all to use hydrogen cars. Well, hydrogen cars produce water vapor instead of CO2. they produce water vapor. So this asshole's idea to get rid of CO2 in the atmosphere that's warming things is to actually add more water vapor into the air, which is the most abundant warming feature we have on the planet. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, God. Justin says science is okay for climate, but not for sexuality. Right. When they decide science to use science, or at least the science argument is arbitrary. It's weird. Sometimes you have to work with it instead of fighting it. Exactly, Johnny Blaze. Sometimes, look, again, this is one of my problems, and it's been my problem all along. I am willing to believe it's warming. I am willing to believe that Bangladesh is underwater because of global fucking warming. But if it's not man doing it, which, by the way, is fucking arrogant. It is arrogant to think man can make that kind of a drastic change. But let's say it's not man doing it. You've wasted tons of man hours, tons of money, tons of resources fighting something that you shouldn't have been fighting, when instead you should have been preparing for what's coming. Maybe man's not doing it. And maybe instead of trying to build a fucking catcher for CO2, what you need to be doing is building more air conditioners so grandmas in France aren't dying by the hundreds every fucking summer. Oh, God. I know. Science tonight. You just deny science, monkey. Evolve Potato, thank you. Plus, when they say the temperature change in unprecedented is based of their models that they have proven to be wrong. But of course, being skeptical of their unsupported opinions is anti-science. Yeah. It is amazing how much stuff they find out they're wrong about and don't tell the public. Remember, the national the National Organization? No, it's the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. These motherfuckers were responsible for what was called the pause. Using their satellite data from 2000, was it 2000? All the way up through 2016, 17, somewhere around there. For almost 20 years. I think it got all the way up to 19 years. Their satellite data showed no change in temperature. NASA's telling us we have it. The EPA is telling us that we have it. College professors across the country who want grants are telling us we have it. But NOAA, their satellite imagery is saying there's no change. And the scientific world can't figure it out. Your diehard believers at home will tell you it's not even real. But then you have people like Michael Mann. For those of you who don't know, Michael Mann is the godfather of global warming. He gave us the hockey stick graph that shows this drastic thing where we're all going to die, that made the UN suddenly change. Oh my God, we have to change everything. Give all the money to poor countries. I'm sorry, that last part's not supposed to be there. But anyway, Michael Mann, the godfather of global warming. This man wrote a paper explaining why the pause happened. It's a true story. And then NOAA comes out and says, oh, there wasn't a pause. We were just reading our data wrong. For 20 years. For 20 years, we were reading our data wrong. And so were scientists like Michael Mann, who had to come out and explain why there was a pause. There were 3 competing theories for why there was a pause that apparently didn't actually exist. You had one group who said it didn't exist. You had one group who said that the ocean was trapping it. And what was the other one? I forget the other one. The ocean was trapping it was one. And was the ocean reflecting it was the other? I know the other had something to do with the ocean as well. It was Michael Mann's theory. And we we just read it wrong for 20 years. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Swear to God, look it up. The people who are telling you the sky is falling read their data wrong for 20 years. And I can never pass up the opportunity to remind you that all of these scientists tell us global warming is not as bad as they thought it was going to be, because they didn't realize plant life was going to breathe CO2. I'm not making that up either. They did not realize plant life would flourish with CO2. For those of you who've never been to a second grade science class, plants breathe CO2. And scientists were telling you the sky is falling. Couldn't figure that out. Couldn't figure out the shit a second. Maybe this is why they need children to lead them. I think, at least in this case, it would be smarter. You're talking about scientists who didn't know plants breathe CO2. Scientists who can't read their own fucking readouts for 20 fucking years. Yeah. That's some shit. I didn't mean to get into global warming. It fucking blows my fucking mind. Again, I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm saying, one, if it is happening, it's not near as bad as they say. That part I will tell you. That part I will be happy to say. I do not believe it's man caused, or if man has any cause in it, that it is worth even mentioning. I think if anything's happening, it's something that we should be paying attention to and are blinding ourselves to, because we are too fucking arrogant and there's too fucking much money in saying global warming. And yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Real science is being put on the back burner so these assholes can make money and try to scare the shit out of people and try to institute global policy. Where else did I do stuff today? Let's see. There's my theory. We already talked about that. Oh, the NBA players. The New Orleans Pelicans. Can't believe they named themselves the Pelicans. Didn't they used to be the Jazz? Why would you get rid of the Jazz? That's so much cooler than Pelican. That's so much cooler. The Pelicans and the Utah. Oh, it's the Utah Jazz. My bad. What was New Orleans didn't use? Is the New Orleans team new? And why is it the Utah Jazz? Is there jazz in Utah? It's not what they're known for, is it? Thank you, Dragon Mage. They do know entire deserts used to be underwater. Well, they know it, but they're not that bright. Anyway, so the Pelicans and the Jazz played a game tonight. And before the game, they all took a knee during the national anthem. And they were all wearing stupid shirts that said Black Lives Matter. And as they played the game, they had stupid sayings on the back instead of their names. Now, we need to talk about taking a knee. We need to talk about taking a knee. That's got to be the dumbest protest I've ever heard. Seriously, when Kaepernick first took his knee, my immediate thought, and I it's one of the few memes I've ever made myself, was the only people I know who kneel like that are women giving blowjobs. I don't bend a knee for anybody or anything. And it's something, as we started this country, we didn't kneel to the president. Kneeling is a sign of submission. Y'all know that, right? It's not some great sign of, I am standing up to stuff. Standing up is standing up to stuff. if you want to make your point, and I'm not telling you to do this because I don't care, but if you want to make your point, what you should do is turn around. That is a sign of I'm not going to respect that. Kneeling is actually giving more respect to the flag. You know that, right? You are bowing before the flag, you stupid shit. Kneeling before the game. You know what? Go fuck yourselves. Anonymous, thank you so much. Who says, sorry, Anonymous, submitting to the BBC. Well, yeah. What do you guys think of the fact that everyone on the teams did it? Not one person stood up. I saw a article the other day that was talking about this. And they talked about the fact that nobody's allowed not to do this. You know what I mean? If one of those guys on the team decided not to stand or not to kneel, stood up and hand over their heart and sung the national anthem, they would have been crucified. Thank you, Mighty Balzac. Pelicans are like the IRS. They can both stick balls up their ass. Wow. Or bills up their ass. I read it right in my head. Do pelicans stick their beaks up each other's butts? That's a fact I didn't know. Anyway, Nut says I think part of them feel pressured to do it. Well, that's part of what I'm getting at and what he was getting at. We're in a weird place where there's shame is being used to control people in some really funky ways, you know, where it used to be, you know, shame might be used to keep you from being a shithead in public, say not to swear at women or that kind of stuff. Now it's used to enforce a social justice agenda. Anonymous, thank you so much. Someone in the Steelers said, fuck off. Love you, Monk. Love you back. And good for them. I wish Drew Brees would have stood by what he said. I wish Drew Brees would have went with his. If you watch what Drew Brees said originally, he was giving no disrespect to the people who were kneeling. None at all. Except for saying that he can't respect them because of why he respects that flag. This wasn't about them. It was about why he supports that flag. And he fucking caved because he had to. He had to. Because if he didn't, he'd get beat up in the locker room. Or somebody would miss a block and suddenly he ain't got a knee no more. Yeah, Drew did nothing wrong but except apologize. Yeah. What he said originally was right. He talked about how his dad and his was it his dad? I know it was his granddad at least. About his granddad was in the military and how much, you know, we have a severe lack of patriotism right now. And it's disturbing. I was watching the protest right before I started over here, and there's this kid who gets up there. This little white boy gets up there and starts. He talks about how he's not white. I'm white, but I'm not white. He said that. He also told them how he's been listening to Chuck Berry and I forget the other singers he named off, but he's been listening to some black singers, you guys, and he gets it now. But he also said this. It should be mentioned that this month in, 14 whatever, the French Revolution happened. And that should be what we do. I'm like, ooh. Stop. Over my dead fucking body. We have a lack of patriotism in this country. And you have people that, you shouldn't be patriotism is for stupid people. No, patriotism is for love of your country. And if you don't have that, why are you here? I guarantee you, and I'd put money on this. Any one of these idiots, any one of them who says, I'm not patriotic, fuck America. I don't care about the land and the fuck America. All right, let's do this. Let's send you to, I don't know, pick a shithole country. Send you to Haiti. Send you to Somalia is my favorite. I think that would be the best place to send them. Let's send you to Somalia. You got to live there for 2 years. Send you to China. You got to live there for 2 years. Let's send you to Singapore. You have to live there for 2 years. You come back, you're going to love America. The problem is you're too spoiled to love America, which is a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to say. You're too spoiled to love America. You don't realize what you've been given. How lucky you are to have been born within these borders. To have that passport, you dumb motherfucker. Thank you, Frank. How can you be fighting the system when it's backing every move you make? What kind of oppressor bows down to the oppressed? Thank you for the donation. I love my country, but hate the government being run the way it is now with the Dems. It's okay to hate your government. One of the problems we have, though, is we still need to respect them. And I mean that sincerely. There still needs to be a certain level of respect for the office, which there just doesn't seem to be anymore. Say the office of the presidency, the office of the speaker, the office of the leader of the Senate. We don't have to hold it in such high esteem that we can't question the people who are doing the job. When they're bad, like, frankly, Pelosi is horrible at her job. She should be fired. We should be able to impeach her, but we're not allowed to. That's not a thing that you can do to Congress. But I still respect that office. And I don't want to see anything bad happen to her other than her losing her job because she's fucking horrible at it. You respect the office, not the holder. Exactly. Now, I'm glad we didn't go with some of the founders who wanted to almost treat the president as a king, because we got away from that for a reason. And they were right to. I'm glad we didn't go with something like bowing before the president. But there should still be some respect there. And too many fuckers are raised these days with, no, fuck that. I don't like him. Fuck him. Fuck him. No. No. I don't like this country. Get the fuck out. You're not supposed to tell people, monkey, it's their country too. They don't want it to be their country. I don't say that to people who just have disagreements. I don't say that to people who just want to talk about, policy changes. I say to the ones who, I don't like this country. Get the fuck out. Go live somewhere that's better. By the way, be careful with what you say, because even as limited as we are here in speech, we have nothing on anyone else in the world. We have the most free speech of anyone. And there's studies that come out. America is like fifth when it comes to free speech. No, it's not. Stop it. Stop it. There are countries you'd be amazed what you can be jailed for in other countries. I mentioned Singapore specifically because I know there's lots of people who talk about going there, and I don't understand why. It looks like a shithole country to me. But that is a very dangerous place to be an American, because we are too spoiled. And you go over there and you fuck up wrong, they'll kill you. I don't like the death penalty. Well, you better be careful in Singapore, because they like the fuck out of it. Too many focus on America's flaws. Yes, exactly. And they go on to say when her virtues far outweigh them. We had a rocky start. There's no doubt about that. There were some mistakes made. Our Declaration says all men are created equal, and then we held men as slaves, men and women, of course. Men in the broad sense of humanity. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Except for those black guys over there. Yeah, we fucked that up, but we fixed it with blood. The blood of our ancestors all over battlefields. But yeah, we fucked up. We fixed it. It did take too long. It took way too long. Civil rights, way too long. But that stuff's been fixed and it's been done for a while. It's time to move on. It's time to celebrate the victories. It's time to celebrate those victories. Instead of whining about stupid shit like, white people always try to touch my hair. It's so racist. You don't know what racism is. You really don't. You see it in a movie and then you just forget about it. You watch Mississippi Burning and you're like, oh my God. And the next day you're out there whining about your hair being touched. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what strife is. You don't know what oppression is. You think you do because it gets you attention. We paid for our sins in blood. It was a hard time. Brothers literally fighting brothers over that shit. Fathers killing their own children in war because they were on different sides. And the right side won when it comes to slavery. Unfortunately, that set us on a really bad path for the federal government. What should have happened is, if you wanted to do that, end slavery and then go, all right, now if you want to leave, you can. Do a Louis Gossett Jr. at the end of An Officer and a Gentleman. I just came back to quit. And they go in there and fight and he kicks his ass. You can quit now if you want to. That's what we should have done. Go in there, beat their ass, force them into submission. All right, slavery's not a thing anymore. And they go, all right, now if you want to leave, you can. But yeah, it was a horrible moment for federal power. Before then, everybody thought, states would be allowed to leave if they wanted to. And they should be allowed to. If a state wants to leave, they should be allowed to fucking leave. But the fight over slavery was worth it and needed. It was a necessary payment for our sins. I believe that wholeheartedly. But that was the end of it. That was the end of paying for slavery right there. 40 acres and a mule. Shut up. Shut up. We used to promise people land all the time. It was like back then, the government's just like, no, give them land. Give them land. That'll take care of everything. They did it with blacks. They did it with the Indians. It was, and then they just take it back anyway. It's fucked up. It really is. What? Yeah, that's why you don't burn down your weave stores. Yeah, don't burn down your weave stores. The racist pinkos ignore the fact the United States is the only nation in history to fight a war to end slavery. True. Now, I don't know if that's the most virtuous argument to make, though. It would have been nicer if everybody just looked at each other and went, this is fucking wrong. We should stop. We shouldn't be doing this to people. But that's not what happened, and couldn't change everybody's mind, so we just went in there and kicked the shit out of them. Like, should have listened. Should have listened. We paid for it, though. Civil rights movement. That was a horrible one. That went on for way too long. 100 years, man. 100 years between the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement. That's fucked up. Like, all right, y'all can be free, but you can't have the same rights as us. I want to say the original part of the Declaration again. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are endowed with certain or that all men are created equal and endowed with certain rights by their creator. All men are created equal. You can't have those rights. Excuse me. Did y'all read this? Did y'all even read that? Thank you so much, Bearcock. My wife asked me the other day, if things go to shit in the country, where could we possibly move to? And I said, literally, this is the only country I can have, being a gun-toting Christian with zero filter. You have zero filter, and I have zero ability to read, apparently. Sorry for the way I fucked that up, but thank you so much for the donation. Yeah, there's a lot of people who piss and moan about this country. I don't love this country. Get the fuck out. But nowhere else has gun rights. Oh, that sucks, doesn't it? So at least there's one thing you love about this country, right? No, fuck this whole country. Get out. But I can't say whatever I want if I move. Oh, that fucking sucks. So there's something you love? No, get out. But in other countries, there's no Fourth Amendment. Ain't that a bitch? It is amazing to me how often they will quote the Constitution as they're telling me how much they hate this place. That's my Fourth Amendment right. I thought you didn't like this place. I thought you hated America. I thought you wanted I thought you wanted a new America. Time to reform the government, change everything. Right? No? There's some of that shit you want to keep from those racists? From those racist men who wrote it? Madison, fucking slave owner from Virginia? The Bill of Rights is still okay, right? Except for that Second Amendment for some of those assholes. Man, they love some of their rights that they hate. Funny as shit. Traitors in the Republican Party and Dems created the segregated South. What happened after the Civil War was a disgrace. It just was. It shouldn't have taken us 100 years to fix that. It actually took us longer than 100 years because it was by the end of the 60s that we finally were getting on the right path. And probably not till the 80s when we were actually there. And yeah, that was fucking 120 years. Civil War ended in what? 63? I want to say 65, 63. I can't remember. No, Lincoln was still president. So what? 63. Buckshot, thank you so much. Have you seen the Maxwell? Oh, I gotta pull this one up over here. That's a long one. Even if I could read well, that would take me way too long. Thank you so much, Buckshot Sancho, who says, have you seen the Maxwell Epstein documents that were released? They were redacted PDF, so it was easily removed. Dershowitz, the Prince, Bill Clinton, all kinds of government and Hollywood names have been exposed as pedos. They're trying hard to take it back down. I haven't seen all of the names. I only saw a brief thing that had mentioned like Maxwell and Dershowitz and Clinton. I forget the other name. It was somebody I don't know. Real quick, thank you so much for the donation. But I saw it. I just haven't seen it all. And yeah, apparently they took it down from Mike Cernovich. And another place put it back up. And I have a feeling they'll just keep trying to take it down. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. 65. Oh, I was right. Okay. No, would y'all make up my mind? Several people are saying 65. Several are saying 63. Could have sworn it was 63. Huh. What, did it start in... Now, okay, you know what? I'm going to sit back here because 65 sounded right at first, and I second guessed myself. Was Lincoln shot in his second term? Lincoln shot in his second term, the beginning of his second term. And that's how we got who followed Lincoln? Oh, I'm so bad with this. I know my first three presidents. That's it. After that, I have to go, oh, I'll spend days thinking about it until I get it. 63 was Gettysburg. Fair enough. Like I said, I know he was still president, so it had to be, if it was 65, he had to be in his second term. Yeah, and he got shot in the head by John Wilkes Boothby, who jumped off and busted his leg up. Dumbass. Bearcock, thank you. Oh, and FYI, the French Revolution happened after the American. Yes. I just don't remember the dates. I don't know much about the French Revolution. I know a little tiny bit. I know very little. Andrew Johnson. Okay, there you go. Anyhow, so I knew it wasn't Andrew Jackson, and that was the only name that was coming to mind. So at least I was close. I was very close with Andrew Jackson. I mean, he was a president, and the names are very similar. I feel like I should get at least partial credit on that one. Partial? Anyhow, what do you guys think about them holding all of these old presidents account for racism and owning slaves? And I heard Ben Shapiro make an argument today, which I'm not sure I really like, but it does make the point. I was watching old Dave Rubin's. I watched quite a few of those today because I actually was interested in the guests. He had the guy who does bar rescue on. That was a really interesting interview. It's actually, I want to buy his book now after listening to him talk. I love that show, by the way. Bar Rescue, great show. Ben is convinced that in 100 years, people won't be eating meat anymore. They won't be eating meat anymore. And he said they will look back at us and think that we were absolutely horrendous people because we were eating meat and we knew these animals were alive. We should have known it was wrong. And I guess that's okay. I mean, I don't like the analogy comparing humans to animals, because I don't know if we'll ever have anything where they look back and it is as bad as slavery. I hope not. I don't think killing animals for meat is as bad as owning a person. Right? Am I wrong about that? But it does make the point. It does make a point that at some point they think we're going to run out of meat. I don't know why. I keep seeing all this shit. Like, we're not going to be able to have enough cows for everybody. We're doing fine. You guys said in the 70s that we'd be overpopulated by now and everybody would be starving off because we didn't have enough food. We have more food than ever. Welcome to human ingenuity. But I can see the point he's making there. Oh, abortion might be a good one, Faithless. That would be a good one. If 100 years from now, we get rid of this horrific, this fucking barbaric practice. And I know there's some people who support it. I'm sorry, it's barbaric. Killing babies in the womb is fucked up. But yeah, let's say it got outlawed and everybody's like, yeah, that was a bad idea. People 100 years from now would look back at us and go, how the fuck could you have even done that? How the fuck could you do that? But the point being that people like Grant, people like Washington, this was just what was done at the time. And while there started to be rumblings about getting rid of it, it was just what was done at the time. It's not like Washington went, I'm going to go own some blackies. It's just what was done. And it's hard to convince or to explain that to these fucking idiots. It's hard to explain to them that you're looking at these guys through the wrong lens. We actually saw some asshole go, Hitler was a man of his time. I'm fairly certain that in 1938, There weren't a whole bunch of people with their own concentration camps killing off Jews. I'm fairly certain that wasn't just part of the culture. Just so I could look at him and go, you're a fucking idiot. Washington got his slaves through marriage to his wife. He had some before then, didn't he? I'm trying to remember. He got more with his wife because he had his own slaves. And then he got some with his wife. And then they acquired more as they were together. And when he died, he left the instructions to release his slaves when his wife died, so that all of the slaves would be released at the same time. And then didn't she end up releasing him early anyway? Inherited this from his father. Yeah, I know. No, he was a poor boy. He wasn't. I mean, Washington wasn't that poor. Washington was a politician by the time, and he'd already had his own command. He wasn't dirt poor. He had slaves when he married Martha. He had his own slaves. I'm almost positive of that. Don't make me look it up. I'm tired. Hard staring, indeed. Indeed. You think that's how Washington met Martha? He hard stared at her for a while, and she's like, oh my God, he's hard staring at me. Man, can you imagine undressing your wife back then to have sex? Especially like after a ball and they got a big ass gowns on and nobody's got deodorant and you pull it off and it just stinks. It just stinks to high heaven. Ugh. You got to dive in there anyway because you got a raging boner. You've been hard staring at her all night. You got to take care of it. You're like, you stink, baby, but I'm diving. Just lay back. I'll lick that clean. His father died. He wasn't the oldest. I just read a book on the subject. He got his money and slaves through Martha. Wait. If he got his slaves through Martha, then Martha wouldn't have had any. She had her own and he had his own. I'm positive on this. I'll have to look it up and yeah. Anyway. Vomit. Don't vomit, man. It's just a little sweat. It's just a little sweat and puss juice. Oh, dear God, that's disgusting. Sorry, guys. I just think about things like that. I can't help it. You ever think about what an old whore in a cowboy town must have smelled like? Bitch been working out there. It's 105 degrees. She's inside a wooden shack. There's no air conditioning. And she's been getting banged all day long. She must have smelled like hell by the end. Oh, it smelled like somebody drowned a cat and then left it in the sun. All right. Over on the Streamlabs. Thank you so much, Frank, who says he bought his slaves north when he became president, then left them on his property up north. When he moved back south, he couldn't legally free them until death, so that's how he did it. I keep seeing lots of people tell me that these people couldn't legally release their slaves. Washington could have released his slaves. He left a reason why he didn't do it. And it didn't have anything to do with legality. So if somebody can link me the law from Virginia at the time that said he couldn't release his slaves, I'd be interested to read it. Buckshot Sancho says Louis Gohmert introduced resolution calling on lawmakers to ban organizations or political groups that have historically supported the KKK or slavery, basically making the left play by their own rules. I mean, why stop at just Confederate statues? Yeah, I saw that. We talked about it briefly when he first did it. That was a couple of days ago. Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is, bitch. Time to get rid of the Democratic Party. You guys went to war for slavery. You are the Confederates. You are the Klan. You are the Jim Crow. For fuck's sake. That's why we have the saying smells like a French whore. Well, that was for the perfume, right? They perfumed up afterwards. That can't take care of all of it. Frank Hubbard, thank you. That's how Soul explained it. What? The Washington couldn't release him because of the law? I want to see the law. That's all. Because several people have said that to me in chat. And like I said, Washington, he didn't say that. I was talking about stinky women. Yeah, I do. I think about how they must have smelled. And I get it. You know, you can perfume up a little bit, but there's only so much perfume can do. I mean, then it just smells like perfume and stinky puss. Perfume ain't going to get rid of all of that unless you're spraying it all up in there. And, you know, the scent travels, man. Oh, shit, we're at 2 hours. I don't think I even did my whole Twitter stuff. But you know what? I think we'll call it there because we're talking about stinky puss and pudding. Oh, God, stinky puss just got worse. I meant to say perfume and pudding came out. Wow. You don't want the kind of pudding that comes out of stinky puss. That's all I'm saying. You don't even want that in a donut. All right. Yes, Washington had it in his will that when Martha died, his slaves could be set free. Yes, exactly. And I thought, and right, she decided to set him free early. That's what I thought. I was almost positive on Martha setting him free early. Ever wonder how many splinters Martha had in her veg? Remember, his teeth weren't actually made out of wood. The people that like the fables about him, he was a valuable propaganda asset, but a horrible general and, by most accounts, human. You know, I've talked about that before. I love the mythology of our founders and of our country. I love some of our mythology that we have. George Washington's wooden teeth being a great example, you know. There's certain things, it's okay. And we do that for kids, and it helps them learn and stuff. It's okay to have mythology, and then as you get older you learn the truth, you know. Thank you, Frank, who says smells like cologne, leave it alone. Smells like a fish, it's a dish. I've never actually smelled fishy puss, so it's something I'm happy for. If it does smell like that, y'all need to, you shouldn't be douching with aquarium water. That's all I'm saying. Actually, you shouldn't be douching at all. You really shouldn't, unless there's something wrong up in there. Your natural sensors are normal, and you have stuff in there that you're going to, it's not healthy. And I know there's women who swear by it, but it's not healthy. You're cleaning out bacteria that belongs in there. And look, guys, don't get offended at the word bacteria. Right now, you have a shit ton of bacteria in your mouth. An assload of bacteria in your mouth. So be careful. Be careful. There's a channel for Washington's house in Virginia. Is there really? That's cool. Anyway, did you mean to time someone out earlier, James? Oh, yeah, James, you timed out. Shit, I forgot who it was. Bacteria in your guts is good. Right. You're not going to douche your asshole. That would not be a smart. Well, people do enemas, which is an enema is basically an asshole douche. That's a weird place to leave this, ladies and gentlemen. Asshole douche. Oh my God. Oh wow, we've sunk. I don't know if this is the lowest we've ever been, but asshole douche is definitely down there. Thank you guys so much for watching. The fuck is wrong with you? Yes, James, you did. I figured. I forget who it was. Whoever James timed out. Sorry about that. It was an accident. You were fine. James, you gotta be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you for the donations, you guys. I'm humbled that you guys share your money with me. I tell people, you know, like, what do you do? I'm an entertainer. That's what I try to do. And sometimes I'm ranty, sometimes I'm funny, sometimes I'm sad. This show is all over the fucking place, and no matter where I am, you guys, you show up and you support me, whether it's by watching or sharing or donating. I really cannot tell you how much I am humbled by your presence, and thank you so much for being here. Tonight is Friday. We're going to be on Scribe Lights channel, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know if I'm going to do a game stream. Probably not, guys. It'll depend on how well I'm able to stay awake over the next couple of hours. If I have trouble staying awake, I will do a game stream. If I don't have trouble doing or staying awake, I won't. So, as always, watch for Twitter. Link is below. There's also a link down there for my Teespring store. Go check out the shirts that are on there. I have to get more. There was one. I was going to make one today, and I forgot what it was. Shit. This is why I should write shit down. But, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I wasn't near the button, so that didn't work out very well. There we go. I'll see you next time. I'm going to sing about douching an asshole.